my biggest wish, I guess, is that I can have the best race that I can to show everyone out there that believed in us and those that maybe didn't believe in us that Tiffany knows what the hell she's doing.
I think there's a little bit of poetry in the race date for the Ironman 70.3 World Championship this year. It's December 14th, 2024. It's exactly 1 year to the day that Caitlin and I sat down together and had a really good heart-to-heart conversation.
We just kind of felt like the past couple of years have been a little bit at a stalemate, and we know that we've both learned so much through the many years of doing triathlon.
We both decided that it was in our best interest to go the self-coaching route for the 2024 season.
So we felt like we had a pretty good knowledge base as to how to do it. And we figured, you know what, we're at a stalemate, let's change some things up, let's just go for it.
It's almost an opportunity to be full circle. And I think the race day is special and significant. And I look forward to seeing how the day unfolds, because it's been a pretty special year, and I've learned a lot about myself, and I've learned a lot about Caitlin and I, and it's been quite an awesome chapter to this triathlon journey.
We've seen amazing improvements along the way, and just being able to have that coach under the same roof, really being able to share full-heartedly how I feel as a person, as an athlete.
And obviously it's very expensive to have a triathlon coach. There is benefit in that. You don't have to stress over what the workouts are gonna be, or figuring out the structure, or planning things. You also give up the autonomy. You really have to put your faith and your trust into someone else, and you have to hope that that coach is fully invested in you.
She's got a positive mindset to this whole process, and I think that being positive has helped her, has helped me, helped us have the great season that we have had up until this point.
I think for us, you know, we needed to come back to ourselves. We needed to get to a point where we could make the decisions, we could trust ourselves. One part of the conversation that we had when we were discussing the option of going to a self-coaching route was the time and the stress.
I think that there may have been a little added stress to Tiffany, being that she's the coach now. You know, obviously she's got to be the one to sit down and work through workouts, see what it is that we need for that week, how much swim, bike, run, weightlifting, rest. She's got to calculate all these things. And of course, that's going to add extra to her.
I made the promise to her that we would always have the conversations if we needed to, if we felt like it was a little too much, or maybe if it wasn't enough. But I certainly have felt the pressure, because I know what Caitlin is capable of, and I still don't think she has scratched the surface of how amazing of a triathlete she can be. But I'll tell you this, I've seen the flashes of that start to build this season. And I'm not here patting myself on the back. I'm not here taking credit. That's not the type of person I am. I don't sit here to take the credit. But I do know who she is as a triathlete, and I want to bring that out of her.
I know that every workout that Tiff has put on the plan, there's a reason for it, and I just upload it to my own Training Peaks, execute the workout, get the green check mark, check it off, and after doing so many of these workouts, I know that it's building to the bigger process, and you just got to trust it. And that's what I've done up until this point, and I feel like it's led me to a point where I know I can execute my best race yet.
So if it takes some time for me on a Sunday evening to plan out our next week of training, I'm happy to do it because I see the results. I see how much more enjoyable this season has been because, again, we own it. We own the training, we own the plan, we own the communication, we own the conversation, and ultimately we own the results together.
I feel like she's managed it very well. She designates one afternoon of the week to really sit down and focus on that, and she knows how to manage what she needs to do, and I feel like it's gone really well.
I think especially me personally, I needed to find reason to trust myself. I've been in the sport for 15 years, which is almost a third of my lifetime. And I've learned some things along the way. And I know I don't know it all. I don't proclaim to know it all. And I might not be a good coach if you're looking at all of the X's and O's and all of the details. But I do know Caitlin, and I do know myself, and I know how we respond. I know what we need, and I'm with us 24 hours a day. And I know when we're tired, I know when we're mentally fatigued, I know when one of us needs to lift up the other and vice versa. And I think you don't get that from a coach. And we really needed to lean in on that, trusting ourselves, being a sounding board for each other and not saying, well, let's go ask coach what they think. Now we have the conversation, we talk about it, and we figure out what's best for us, what works in our schedule, what works with our bodies, what works with our goals.
If I have any questions or concerns about a workout, trying to get a hold of someone, I just simply say, hey, love, what do you think about this, that, or the other?
And we don't have to ask permission, or we don't have to sometimes suck it up and do something that maybe we don't know any better, because you do go in and you have to trust the coach. You have to trust what the coach is giving to you. And no matter how much you communicate with your coach, sometimes there's going to be a disconnect, and it's not always going to be what's best for the athlete.
She's able to take that and adjust or increase, decrease workouts as needed. That making each week the best build that week was intended to be. I feel like up to this point, it has turned into be a very good gamble.
We have that ownership, and we can rise up to the level, and maybe we're not doing things just right or textbook, but I will tell you this, I feel the most prepared going into any race that I've ever been going into this World Championship. I don't know what that means as far as results will be, but I know I feel good physically and emotionally to go into race day firing on all cylinders.
I don't know that she worries about how well I'm going to do. I think she just wants me to be able to be the best that I can.
I know we've had good build-ups to races over the years. I know we've had good training plans. I know we've had good training. But I hope that Caitlin is feeling right now that this is the most prepared she's ever been, that the volume that we've done has her prepared to be strong at the end of every discipline, because I think that's something that she's expressed in the past, is that she doesn't feel like she's strong at the end of the bike leg. She doesn't feel like she's strong at the end of the running leg. And I hope she goes into this race with a sense of calm in preparation, knowing that she has done everything that she should do to put herself in a position to have the best day on race day.
Because the builds have gone so well this year, I've felt better during a race. Feeling better, I'm able to go a little bit quicker. And of course, when you're going quicker, the pain doesn't last as long during the races. So I guess in a sense, the races this year have been more enjoyable. Yeah, there's been times of suffering and it hurts and it's hard, but at the end of the race, there's always that joy of accomplishment and how great that I do that race, and compared to previous times doing the same race. You know, I've just grown so much as an athlete and improved. Swim, bike, run, obviously that's the goal here, but it's also led to a more enjoyable experience. You just gotta trust the process, and that's what I've done up until this point.
Because triathlon is what brought us together, it is a reward that this season we are fully doing it together. And I embrace that pressure because I see the results and I'm happy. I'm so happy to see Caitlin starting to scratch the surface and starting to break through. I'm her #1 fan. I'm her #1 cheerleader. And there's nothing more than I want than Caitlin to have the best day. And if she beats me by an hour, I'm gonna be more than happy if we both have a good day out there and she just kills it. I'm still waiting for that day, and I can't wait to see that come together.
There's been a lot of life in the Saunders household. You know, on one hand, I'm really grateful that Tiffany is our coach, just because it gives her purpose. Right now, I imagine it's pretty hard. Well, I know it's hard. I know it's hard for her because I'm living it with her. You know, to be unemployed and not knowing what the future's gonna hold. I'm very grateful that we have triathlon to give her this purpose, for her each day to look after my workouts, her own workouts, and Colin's workouts. I feel like this has really been something good for her to put her energy towards, as opposed to, you know, something negative. So yeah, it's been tough in that sense, but grateful that we have this upcoming race to really put that energy and focus towards. Yes, of course, I've got goals that I want for the race, but my biggest wish, I guess, is that I can have the best race that I can to show everyone out there that believed in us and those that maybe didn't believe in us that Tiffany knows what the hell she's doing. She's probably the most intelligent person I know, and she cares so much, and she gives so much of herself, not just to me, but she gives to everyone that asks for something. She never says no. She's the first to help in any way that she can. And I want to have my best day for her.
I think Caitlin and I have had our share of life this year. We've had our share of life the last few months, but at the same time, we remember how much joy that triathlon brings to us, and that we get to do this together, and that the time we spend in the mornings training, the time we spend maybe sitting on the couch talking about past races or upcoming training sessions or this world championship race and how it's been 5 years in the making, that brings a joy to us, and we can't help but be excited. We can't help but be happy. And I think that does make you a better racer, is when you can be in a place of happiness and be in a place of joy, because that's why we do this sport. We do this sport because we enjoy it. Of course, when we stepped out and chose to go the self-coaching route, I know it's not for everybody. But like I said, I know who we are as triathletes. I know what we need. And I also know that we really don't have to prove anything to anybody. People are gonna judge, people are gonna have their opinions. All we have to do is execute our training and execute our races. And it's between Caitlin and I as far as what our path was to get there. It takes a lot of courage to choose to go the self-coaching route because the sport is so complex. But I'm comfortable with it. And we've got 2 really good races behind us this year. We've got 1 really exciting race waiting for us too. Race day is the celebration, and that's what we want to embrace. When we go out and we line up, we want to know that we get to soak it all in and we get to do it in a pretty cool place. Things are hard, but at the end of the day, having triathlon, that's our grounding place. And that's what brings us joy, being able to share it, that we know we're both lining up on race day together. It's really special, and I'm glad that we get to do this with our life.